What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Trick 10s. This is the Tracker Grizzly 1648 kit build. I'm picking up right where I left off in the last video. As you can see, I got the complete front deck kit installed. We got our rear bench kit installed and our transom kit. All the hatches are powder coated. Everything is ready to go. Only thing I have left to do is put the turf in here. We're putting in the 2-inch cut groove gray wood grain teak turf. It's a hydro turf color. It's definitely a sick color. I'm looking forward to putting this in here. And it's going to be really cool looking once it's all said and done. So I've got my work cut out for me. I'm going to get you guys up on the hyperlapse. I'm going to try to get this turf in here as quickly as possible. And then I'll give you guys the walkthrough and show you all how I did it and what I did. And you guys know how this works. I've got to get this boat out of here though. My house is actually under construction. It's been crazy. You see I got a bunch of wood and stuff everywhere down here in my garage. I need to get this boat finished up and get it out of here because we're doing some renovations. We've been trying to get this done for a while, and all of a sudden the contractor was like, I'm ready to go. Let's start tomorrow. So they started ripping some walls down, putting some walls up, trying to make an extra bedroom, and there's a whole lot going on in the house right now, and I kind of need this garage as space until I can get through the next week or so to finish up this first stage of the project. So this boat has got to go. And I want to get the turf in here because I want to see what it looks like. I got a lot to do, guys, and this thing is not going to turf itself. Let's get back to work. All right, so here we go again, installing some more turf. This turf is really cool, though. I'm happy the customer went with this because I've never used it before. It's been a while since I put some 2-inch cut groove turf in, and it was a little bit more than I was bargaining for, but it turned out pretty good. This first sheet right here, obviously I had to line up my seam in the center of the boat, put my line up there, started from there and the floor and back over to the side, tucked it in tight. And now I'm just doing all the trim work, cutting around these hatches, cutting around the hinges. And now it's time for sheet 2. Same type of deal. I had to cut my sheet to start off where I left off with the last one. So you lose a lot of this drop in this turf because you cannot just start it up where you're at. And every time you make a cut, you got to cut at least 2 inches off. But the second sheet went in here really good. That seam on the front deck is almost unnoticeable. It turned out amazingly good, and I was glad that my daughter was out here just to help me pass the time. Now, Bree is always trying to get involved with whatever I'm doing, and I love it. It doesn't bother me when I'm working. You can have a conversation with me. I could have a conversation about anything and still be focused, my body and mind, and know what the job is at hand and the task, and I know what I got to do. So if I want to talk to you or talk about something, it's not going to mess me up at all. If anything, it just kind of helps me pass the time because I know what I'm doing, and it's just part of the game. This front deck turned out so good. These sheets matched up pretty well considering there's 2 pieces in there, and the seam is actually in front of us. It's about 15 inches off the side of the boat, so it turned out really good. It's almost unnoticeable. The floor, time for the floor. Now, this floor is a pain in the butt. It's just like over and over, stretching, pushing, stretching, pushing. You got to line up all of these lines, and then you got to line them up going back to the back of the boat. Now, this corner I'm in right there turned out good. This corner on the other side is a little bit different. You can see up in the front of the boat, it tapers back, and there's more of the piece of the turf in the back. It's like going from like 1.5 inches to nothing. So it was pretty hard to get this one right, and it comes back to bite me a little bit later with installing these sheets, but the whole turf job turns out good. Oh, look, my head's covered up. Can't see what I'm doing. Oh, I can see what I'm doing. Look, down here installing more turf. Push, pull, getting this stuff lined up. Pain in the butt, but it looks good. Lots of turf going in here. Just tucking it in, tucking in all the corners. Trim work, you gotta make sure your trim work is right. If you cut too much off, you're screwed. So I end up cutting 2 or 3 times a little bit because you can always take more, but you can't add more. So looks good though. Now to cut out around all these hinges, all the hatches, all the trim work, very important stuff going on right here. And now we've got 2 more pieces we're gonna put in here. I have 1 whole sheet left. The whole sheet I'm saving because I need to use that for the side pieces. And the side panels, I want to put those in as 1 piece to come across the flat and then down the face. And it's kind of tricky to line those up. So we only had this part of a sheet left. So we do have to add a seam into this back deck right here. Now we put 5 sheets of turf into this boat. So got a lot of turf going in here. But if you're going to use a 2-inch cut groove pattern, you're going to end up using an extra sheet probably just because you lose so much with your cuts when you're making it fit together. It turned out good though. The seams turned out pretty well. I mean, there's a little bit of imperfection right there where those 2 come together, but it's just the discoloration of the 2 sheets, and you don't really notice it once the whole boat is finished. It really kind of camos it. Now these side panels, major pain in the butt right here. You can see I'm pushing it down, pulling it up, stepping back so I can look down and eyeball it, and I'm trying to get this thing straight. And it was hard because from the front to the back deck, both sides tapered out a little bit, but it looks good when it's all installed. It just takes a little bit of time. You really don't want to stick it down too hard the first time because you're gonna have to pull it back up. And if it gets a little bit out of whack, then you're not gonna be happy with it. So it's very important that you just kind of press these seams down a little bit on the top until you get everything right, and then you can push it down nice and tight. And then I'm just coming back and trim cutting everything. Same thing with the other side. Now this was the side that really was aggravating. You can see here I'm leaning on the front deck. I'm trying to eyeball it, and there's little spots in there where it just gets wiggly, and you know the line is not straight down that top piece, and it's really annoying. But I got this thing right and went ahead and tucked it in. It's definitely the hardest part of the whole boat was right here in this corner because that corner was not square. It was about 1.25 inches out from there to that front deck. So that was stuff that was in the boat. Nothing I did, nothing I could do about it. But all in all, the turf turned out sick right here. We used up all of the turf doing the top of this deck. There are some small drops left, really only one decent sized piece. Now it's time to put all these handles in here. Put this first one in. Now we're going to speed it up a little bit more. Look how fast I'm putting those things in. Yeah, at this rate, I could probably put all these handles in here in about 5 or 10 seconds. I wish I could do it that fast in real life. All of these hatches are locking except for the one on the very back by the transom. And there you go. Full image of the boat. Completely turfed on the top. Looks really good. The only turf job I got left to do is inside of these compartments. And I'm getting ready to do that in just a second. But this turf color is really cool, man. I'm really digging it. It's definitely a classy and elegant looking turf for sure. All right, I'm back. Now this is the last hatch we got to do right here. I had 2 big pieces and then a small piece right here that went in this front. This is a big compartment. This thing is 28.5 inches wide from port to starboard, and it was 36 inches from bow to stern. So I put these 3 pieces in, and I'm running out of turf. You can see I'm putting in little pieces. They're only like 6 inches wide. I had like 5 or 6 pieces I had to go across here, but I lined them up, and they all look good. It turned out pretty sick. Now it's time to put all these decals on here. All the hatches were custom built, and obviously they were powder coated black. So I wanted to put some of my custom Trick 10s logos on them. All the hatches have a logo on them, and I put the HydroTurf logo into the back transom because that's the biggest hatch, and it turned out pretty sick. So we got all this turf in here. This turf color is so cool, man. It looks really good in here. I really like this gray wood grain color. It's definitely different than any of the other turfs I've ever used. The cut groove made it a little difficult keeping my line straight, but I'm happy with the install, and I'm really happy with the finish of it. I mean, it looks so cool. I think it's gonna be really dope, especially once we get these LED lights in here. The only thing this boat could probably use would be a paint job. If you had some type of gunmetal or a dark color, a black, it would look sick. I mean, it still looks good with the green tracker color, but that's just my opinion. I have 2 things left that I want to do to this boat. I'm going to give you guys a full walkthrough and show you the entire rig in just a second. But the 2 things I got to do are the green LED lights. I got some custom ones from Custom LEDs and Fiber Optics. I'm looking forward to trying those. They look really nice. I'm going to be leaving a link for them in the description of this video. And I also have some rod tie downs, the retractable ones. They're sold by Gunfish Outdoors, which is a company owned by Kevin Gunn. If you don't know who he is also another YouTuber. He lives local to me. He's got a fishing channel. It's called Gunfish TV. All right, now I'm going to give you a full walkthrough of this boat real quick, and then we're going to talk some pricing. All right, so check it out. This turf color is so sick, man. Really cool. This is the big hatch we installed up front here, and look how big this thing is. Now he's got lots of room. Tons of space up inside of here. I turfed inside the whole compartment. Same thing with these other compartments. This is a small compartment on the side. This is going to be for storage. He's got his box with the keys to all these hatches in there. And the center one, put turf in the floor also. Looks good. I'm actually going to be installing some battery trays in here. I'm thinking I'm going to put maybe 3 across the face, or maybe 1, 2, and 1 on this corner. I'm not sure yet. And that's where all his electrical wires are going to come in through. So it's just good size storage space in there. Even once he gets those batteries in there, he's using some lithium batteries, so they're not going to take up a ton of space. And he's got a good size floor in here. This is the corner I had some issues on, but my turf lines up pretty good. It looks pretty straight going up to the front. This side right here was out of square. It was off by like a 1/4 inch here, but when you went all the way down to the other side, it was over 1 inch. So definitely made it a little difficult, made it fun installing. But this is the big hatch back here. Fully turfed. Lots of room in there. That's our rear bench kit. Then we have the transom kit. Now this transom kit has a huge hatch on it. 16 by 42. Finished off the inside. I did go ahead and make a little metal plate for that and screw that in. You can remove that. And then I went ahead and I screwed in this plate over here that has all the information for the boat. That was on the transom originally. So let's put that in there. I am going to get this boat back when he gets done installing all the motors and electronics, and I'm going to try out this on-the-fly jack plate. I've never used one of those, but I am going to do a full walkthrough and on the water test with it, so that should be sick too. Same thing over here, just access to that big hatch. With his batteries going up front, this is a humongous storage compartment. I mean, this is 24 inches across here, and you know, it runs the bottom of the boat full length, so it's like 4 foot at the bottom, but up here across the top, it's over 5 feet. Then the last thing we got is our electrical panel hatch. I did not finish this off because he's doing all his own electrical work, but he's going to cut all his holes. He's going to sink his switch panel and his fuse block, his bus bar, whatever else he's going to put in here, and then he's going to put a couple screws on either side. That way this thing can be removable. Before he puts all his stuff in here, he's probably going to sand this up and paint it so it looks like a finished product, but it's pretty cool. Turned out good. I did put stickers on all the hatches too, just to kind of finish them off, but I mean, it looks really good. I'm really happy with the entire install. And just the turf in general, it's really something that I would put in my own boat, hands down. All right, so now let's talk pricing on this front deck kit right here. So if you're interested in purchasing one of these trackers kits, now I know in the last video of the tracker kit, I told you that the one that was the 2-tier that had the live well was going to be coming in around $2,500 bucks. Well, this one is going to be coming in at $1,300. If you want to get it set up just like that, that's how much it would be. If you want one hatch in the center, it might be a little different on your price. This one is based off of 3 hatches. Now you could get this with 1 hatch, you could sheet either side, might save a little bit of money. But this is going to come with the big frame that drops in. It's going to have a faceplate piece also, and then it will also have whatever hatches or sheeting you need to finish off the top of this. Now it might need a little bit of tweaking. I'm still figuring a lot of this out, but for $1,300 bucks, you could basically build yourself an extra deck that comes back about 18 inches, have lots of storage in there. You can run it just like this one if that's how you want to do it. However you want to hook it up, I'd be glad to talk to you and help you design the kit that will be perfect for your boat. Originally, I was going to go ahead and install the LEDs and then put those rod tie downs into this boat in this video, but I really just want to touch on the price for this deck and go ahead and wrap this video up because this is important. And this video is already getting kind of long, so this is good stuff to wrap this video up with. I will show you guys the lights and stuff. I'm putting these custom LED lights in here. These are going to be sick. And then this is the stuff from Gunfish Outdoors. Go check out Kevin Gunn. He's got lots of different tie downs and graph hold down, all kinds of stuff. He's got pretty cool stuff going on. And the reason I'm going to be installing these into this tracker is we want to see if it'll fit into this VersaTrack. And it's going to be a little bit different than the way they would normally install. They're perfect and easy to install into your tracker, pro teams, and your big Rangers, any fiberglass boat, anything that has a big top gunnel on it that's hollow, it's super simple to install. This one's gonna be a little bit different because it has the VersaTrack. That's why I'm gonna install it in here and I'm gonna see if it'll work. I mean, I know I can make it work, but I gotta figure out how I can do it so that that he can alter his product to fit into these John boats, because a lot of these John boats have a pipe on top or a small top gun on. So the trackers are one of the only ones that it's probably going to work on. So I've got to make sure this thing will fit in here, and then hopefully he'll be selling them to fit into the trackers. I do appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know if you guys want one of these kits. If you're thinking about building out your tracker, I'd be glad to help you. If you guys need anything, just hit me up on trick10sjonboats.com. If you want any merch, that's on trick10s.net. I'll see you guys next time. I gotta get back to work.